Okay, today we're looking at part 2 of Chapter 5 Extra Practice, trying to get you ready to take this Chapter 5 test on decimal division. So on 5.3, it just wants you to estimate a quotient. You don't have to do the whole division problem, you just have to estimate a quotient. So remember, when we estimate a quotient, we try to find compatible numbers. So when we're dividing by 9, our divisor is 9, and we want something close to 28 3/10, we're going to make that be a whole number. What whole number is a multiple of 9 that is close to 28 3/10? 27. So let's have, and we can do this one mentally, divided by 9. 27 divided by 9. How many 9s in 27? 3 of them. So if we were to work this out, we should know that our answer should be close to the whole number of 3. Now how about, we're going to have our divisor of 8, and our dividend is 74 3/10. So what multiple of 8 is close to 74 3/10? 72. Very good. And we can do this in our head because we know that 72 divided by 8 is 9. Now, in this one, we're going to make change both numbers. So let's make our divisor what? 20. Our divisor. We'll make our dividend 200. How many 20s in 200? 10. Right? Now we're going to go on to lesson 5.5 and 5.7, because use the model to complete the number sentence. So they drew a model of 1 6/10. How many tenths are in 1? 10, remember? And they want to do them into groups of 8/10. So how many 8/10 are in 1 60/100 or 1 6/10? So they've done that. You could do this. Here is 8/10, and here is 8/10. So we have 2 groups of 8/10 in 1 60/100. Now, we only have 32 hundredths, so we have 10, 20, 32. Okay? And we want to divide those into groups of 800ths. So if I were to do it in a drawing, I could do one group, and then I would could do this, 2 groups, 3 groups, and then down here I have 2, 4, 6, and I have 8 up here, so then I would have my 4th group. Or if I were working with my base 10 blocks, I would be able to take my hundredths cubes and lay them into 4 groups until they were all gone. So 32 hundredths divided by 8 is 4. Now we're going to divide. So we're going to do some of these together, and you're going to do some of these on your own. It seems like on 3, 4, and 5, sometimes we have a hard time deciding what goes under our hat or our barn or whatever people call that. So I think really want to caution you to say 3 2/10 divided by 8/10. And that should tell you. Or you can think my first number listed is going to go under the hat. So I have 3 2/10 divided by 8/10. Now, Can we divide by decimal? No. So we're going to make that a whole number. What would I have to multiply 8/10 by to make that a whole number? 10. So if I multiply 8/10 by 10, it's going to be 8. What if I multiply 3 2/10 by 10? What is it going to be? 32. Okay, so I've moved my decimal over. I'm going to go ahead and extend my little hat, and I'm going to put my decimal point up there where it needs to be. Will 8 go into 3?
No.
Will 8 go into 32?
Yes.
4 times, right? And we're done. So the answer to this one is 4. All right, so now we're going to look at 81, 8 1/10 divided by 9/10. Again, the first number is going to go under the hat or the barn, and the second number is going to go outside. So 8 1/10 divided by 9/10. So our dividend is 8 1/10, and our divisor is 9/10. What am I going to multiply 9/10 by to make that a whole number?
10.
10, which will cause us to move our decimal place from one place to the right. And if I divide it by 10 in my divisor, I've got to do it in my dividend. And 8 1/10 times 10 is going to be 81. Now we should know how many 9s are in 81. How many?
9.
9 of them. So my answer is 9. Okay, this one is not going to be quite so easy, but we have 1 68/100 as our dividend. And we have 56/100 as our divisor. What are we going to multiply our divisor by this time? 100, because we need it to move over to make it a whole number. And in order to do that, it's got to move 2 place values to our right, and we have to multiply by 100. So now we have our divisor of 656. Now we're going to multiply our dividend by 100, which is going to cause this to move 2 places to our right. So now we have 168 divided by 56. Does anybody know how many 56s are in 168? 3. Okay? Let's go over here to the side real quick and just work that, just to make sure. And 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 6. So we ended up with a whole number of 3 as our answer. Okay? The next one they give you, like it should be. I want you to go ahead and work 6 through 11. Let's look at 9 real quick. Are we going to have any decimals?
No.
Oh, I bet we should maybe work number 9. Because if we take 8 into 9, we go once, right? And when we subtract, we have 12.
So we have to put
Yeah, we're going to have to add our decimal and our 0 in this one. So now, how many 8s in 12? 1. Now, I have 4 left, right? We're not going to leave a remainder, so we're going to add a decimal, and we're going to add a 0, and we're going to bring that 0 down. And so put your decimal up there in your answer, and how many 8s in 40? 5 of them, right? Okay? Hopefully that's the only one, but don't forget, if you run out of numbers, you're not going to have a remainder. We're going to put it, add some zeros. If we already have our decimal in place, like this, we can add zeros in there.
I think 11. Yeah.
Okay, it probably is, but I want you to try it on your own. Okay? All right, so you should be able to check your answers. We are having a little trouble here in the classroom with number 10. So we're going to work through that. I'm just going to rewrite it over to the side. I have 11 divided by 2 and 5/10. Now, first I have to get that 2 and 5/10 to a whole number, so I have to multiply that by 10. And what happens if I multiply 11 times 10? I get 110, right? And remember that our decimal is understood to be at the end of that number anyway. So now I have 110 and my decimal is here. I'm going to go ahead and bring that decimal straight up. Now, how many 25s in 110? 4. And 4 times 25 is 100. And I'm subtracting, I get a 10. Now, I told you, you're not going to leave a remainder. So what are we going to have to do after our decimal there? We're going to have to add another 0. And remember, we can put 1,000,000,000 zeros after that decimal, right? As long as we don't stick another number in there, it doesn't change anything. And then I can bring down my 0, and I know that I have 4 25s, again, in 100. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay. Okay, this is the problem solving that we used yesterday using the backwards method. And so we're going to start with what we want to know. And it says Quinn spent $16.49 for 3 magazines and 4 sheets of stickers. The magazines cost $3.99 each. And the sales tax is $1.02. Quinn also had a coupon for $1.50 off for purchase. If each sheet of stickers had the same cost, how much did each sheet of stickers cost? So that is what we want to know. Cost of 4 sheets of stickers. Okay? And then to that, we are going to add our 3 magazines. And there are $3.99 each, so we're going to go over here and multiply that times. So we don't know this one. We multiplied our $3.99 times 3 and got $11.97. I'm kind of hurrying here because I'm going to run out of recording room. Okay, and then we also have to add back our sales tax. Whoops, that's coupon. To be $1.02, we have to subtract our coupon of $1.50, and that should all equal $16.49. Then if we're going to do this backwards, we're going to start with our $16.49. We're going to add our $1.50 for our coupon. We're going to subtract our $1.02. We're going to subtract our $11.97. And then it should equal the cost of 4 stickers sheets. And then we're going to have to divide that by 4. So I'm going to stop the recording and do my work, and then we'll come back and talk through it real quick. All right, so when I did my work, I took my $16.49, I subtracted my $1.50, and I got, or added my $1.50, and I got $17.99. Then I subtracted $1.02, which was my taxes, to get $16.97, and I subtracted the price we got up here for the magazines, which was $11.97, and that left me with $5. And I took my $5 and I divided it by 4 because I have 4 sheets of stickers, and they want the price of each one, and so it is $1.25 for each sticker sheet. All right, so here's another backward problem. You spent $4.18 on 3 music CDs. Each CD costs the same amount. The sales tax was $2.33, and he used a coupon for $1.04. So the first thing we do is put our cost of our CDs, add our taxes, minus our coupon, where he would give us $40.18. And then if we work that backwards, we're going to have $40.18 plus $1 minus $2.33 should equal the cost of our CDs. If we do our work, you'll see that we have $40.18 plus $1 is $41.18 minus our $2.33 sales taxes, which is $38.85. And if I divide $38.85 by 3, I get $12.95. And so each CD costs $12.95.